Hey everybody, welcome to PBA Radio. It's Chris Guns, and a few months back, early in my reporting days, I had the opportunity to talk to former heavyweight champion Shannon Briggs. Now, I like to think that I came a long way since then. You might disagree, and if you do, don't tell me about it. But this is one of my early interviews, and it went as well as it did because Shannon Briggs is so easy to talk to, and the man knows how to have a conversation. So here's a look back. It was about 3 months ago, so put it at about early June 2012. Here's a look back at my interview with Shannon the Cannon.
I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York.
Tell me about Brooklyn and how it was when you were coming up.
Well, again, like I said, I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. There's a difference from Brooklyn and Brownsville, Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying?
Well, teach us, man. Teach me.
Okay, well, I say Brownsville because, you know, we actually, it's the worst neighborhood in Brooklyn, and it's been from the beginning of time. So, you know, it was rough growing up. It was rough before I was there. It's rough now. You know, there's a huge gentrification project happening in New York, gentrification, and but it's not happening in Brownsville. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's been rough from the beginning. If you look up the Wikipedia for Brownsville, Brooklyn, you'll see it's been a ghetto since its early beginnings, and it still is. But it was for me. It was just like, you know, regular shit living there, growing up there. It was fun. It was rough at times, but it was all we knew. So we knew nothing else. When we went to other neighborhoods, we were like, wow, you know, like Flatbush and even Bed-Stuy, and you know, we were amazed by like houses and stuff like that, because if you look at Brownsville, Brooklyn, it's nothing but housing project. And it's just like, you know, miles and miles of housing projects. So for us, it was like, wow, you know, to see other places. But like I said, it was, you know, it's a breeding ground for fighting and for crime. But at the same time, I was fortunate to make it out of there. Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe from the same neighborhood as well. Two former heavyweight champions. So I fall on a list of fellas of great fighters from Brownsville.
Mm-hmm. And what was your home life like?
It was to me, it was phenomenal. It was great. You know, as an early kid growing up, my mom was a working parent. My stepdad was in and out of my life, but he was a street guy, and he made it possible for us to have a nice apartment and things like that. So I was a single child, and then when I got older, you know, with the crack epidemic came out, my mom got hooked on that, and you know, before that it was heroin. And, you know, life just really went, you know, it really took a turn for the worse. And we wound up losing our home when I was like 13 years old, 14 years old. We lost our home, and we lived a lot of different places, worked with people. We stayed in a lot of different places. And then, you know, a lot of times we didn't have a home. So I just was a wanderer in some ways. You know, I was living off the land, as I like to put it.
It's rough. And I know that you like speak other languages, and you're highly intelligent. You know, you're extra smart from having that kind of upbringing and stuff. But what kind of kid were you? Were you a interested kid, or were you into bad things, or what kind of kid were you?
I was interested in, you know, just learning. I went to Lutheran school. I went to Lutheran school for 7 years. I went to Catholic high school for about a half a year. And, you know, then I was in the public school system after that. But I was always interested and curious. I think maybe possibly going to a religious school kind of sparked my interest in history. So I always had like a passion for history and to learn new things and, you know, see different parts of the world. But, you know, I was a regular kid, man. You know, like I said, single child. You know, no brothers and sisters, no siblings. So, you know, I had to defend myself and fight for myself. And I had to learn early that, you know, especially being in Brownsville, that, you know, it's either kill or be killed, or, you know, never, you know, our motto from Brownsville is, you know, Brownsville never ran, never will, so you had to stand there and fight.
I hear that. And who got you interested in boxing?
Oh, man, just the neighborhood, you know, like I said, fighting a lot, and, you know, fighting was like an art in my neighborhood. Before there was guns and all that was being used in fights, you know, people used to fight, like, as for sport, you know. In my neighborhood, it was like, you know, everybody just fought, like, either play fight or slap boxing or wrestling. It was some type of aggressive play. So, you know, when we got some boxing gloves one day, and we were boxing, I noticed that I was doing fairly very, very well with guys that I couldn't beat in a street fight. So I was like, damn, I like this boxing thing. And then you know, people told me I had talent. Even that was just on the basketball court. So I decided to stick with it.
Yeah. How old were you when you first walked into a boxing gym?
I was about 17 years old when I first went to a boxing gym.
Oh wow, late starter.
Yeah, late start, but you know, like I said, I tell people all the time, man, I had about 300 street fights. I won 150 and I lost 150.
You're the East Coast Kimbo.
Yeah, for real. Before the internet.
Yeah, wow, man. And why did you decide to get into boxing?
We got into boxing because, you know, I was homeless as a teenager, and basically, you know, I was traveling a lot on the trains and walking around Brooklyn, and I was very angry. You know, my mom, we had lost our home. My dad was in prison serving a life sentence, and I was just like angry, man. I was angry. I was depressed. I was hungry, and boxing was a place that I could go and just get off the street and practice and learn, and it was a place to socialize as well. So I kind of just became a hangout.
Yeah. Did you like it right away as soon as you put the gloves on? Did you like it?
Oh, I fell in love. It was love at first sight, man.
And what was your amateur record?
Man, I don't know. I had about 33 wins and about 5 losses.
33 and 5. And you finished second in the Pan Am Games. You lost to Felix Savon. What's fighting Felix Savon like?
I was out of my league. I mean, he was just a phenomenal amateur, you know, champion, Olympian, everything. So he was much older. I had 18 fights when I fought him. I shouldn't have even been fighting him, but that's how it goes. You know, amateurs. I had qualified to go to the Pan Am Games, so I wound up fighting him, and you know, it was what it was. Looking back in retrospect, I'm happy that you know, I was able to fight him and travel to Cuba and get that experience, because you know, I was fearless. You know what I'm saying? I was fearless as a kid, as far as just being even going to fight him. I was like, you know, I'm gonna win. I really thought I could win. So to me, it was just like, okay, let me go do this. You know.
Yeah. And now, in retrospect, that you're so experienced now, what was so special about Felix Savon? What made him so successful?
He was fighting kids, to be honest with you. I mean, he was fighting kids, and I think he was fighting. He had experience. What made him successful was the experience. He never turned pro. He had a great Cuban program backing him, you know, full-time boxing. Now, you know, I was a kid. I was going to school boxing and working boxing, and, you know what I'm saying, boxing part-time. This is what they do for a living, and this is what they do over there as part of being, you know, prideful for the country and being a champion. So for us, I mean, it's just, it's second nature for them. For us, it was like, you know, just something to do.
Yeah. You were the U.S. heavyweight champion. How'd that feel to become the U.S. heavyweight champ?
Oh, that was phenomenal. That was a great experience for me, because I was like, you know, that was something that, you know, after the Savon fight, and I never, you know, no one expected me to qualify for anything, let alone win. And that set me up to go to the Olympics, because I need to Olympics. Unfortunately, I broke my hand, and I couldn't make that, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how did Brooklyn treat you, Brownsville?
I'm sorry?
How did your neighborhood treat you when you were became the apparent heir to the throne? How were you getting treated?
Well, I started my pro career in Jersey, so that was kind of like, you know, took me out of New York. And I lived in Jersey for 15 years, and I kind of started my pro career which was great, because I got to build a second home in Jersey, and you know, and to really get a new following, expand myself. And it was great, man. But, you know, people back home always supported me. And, you know, I'm not as famous as Mike Tyson and Riddick Bowe, but I am, you know, a regular Shannon from the block who made it.
Yeah. Did you ever meet up with Mike or Riddick when they were, successful and before you got so popular yourself? Did you ever meet with them?
Yeah. I've talked to Riddick, ran across Tyson, it was stuff. But, you know, we loved each other because we all from the same neighborhood. Anybody that can make it out of there, we proud of them. We proud of them, you know.
Yeah. Did you ever come close to fighting any one of them?
I was supposed to fight Mike a couple times, man. You know, when he was past himself, not in his prime. You know, it didn't happen, and you know, he wasn't the Mike that he really was when he was young. That Mike would have killed me, you know. So I'm glad.
Yeah. who were you trained by when you first turned pro? Were you trained by Teddy Atlas at the time?
Yeah, I was sure. When I first turned pro, I was trained by Teddy Atlas.
Okay, and who'd you fight in your first fight, and what was the result? Do you remember?
John David Jackson. It was actually welcome to the pros. He hit me with a right hand from hell the first round. He cracked me with a right hand, and boy, I was like, God damn, this is what it feels like, pro boxing. And he cracked me, and then I wound up stopping him in the same round.
And let's see. On December 15th, 1995, the first time fighting in the Garden versus Calvin Jones. How'd that feel, fighting in the Garden in your house?
Well, that was the first time fighting in the big Garden. I had fought in the Felt Forum quite a few times. That felt good. I was like excited about that. I was like, okay, this is big time. This is big league. My whole career to me was just like a kind of a surprise, and every new moment was like, wow, because I didn't expect or plan on being a professional boxer. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm taking this day by day, and every new experience is really a new experience because it wasn't really planned for me to be as successful as I became in boxing. It was not like a lifetime goal or something of mine. Like I said, I only had a couple amateur fights, and I was like, I kind of got thrown in there in some ways, and I just took advantage of my opportunity, but it was all new experiences, new opportunities.
Yeah. And how long were you trained by Teddy? I don't know when you.
For about 4 years.
Yeah. What did you think of him? What was the cause for the split?
Well, there's a lot of different reasons, but I don't really choose to harp on him. That was the past, and I look back in retrospect, and I say to myself, it all happened for a reason. At the time I was, young, and I was going through a lot of things, and I was hurt of our split. But looking back now, you can't change what happened, and I wouldn't change anything. There's some things that I look back and I say that hurt, but they make me who I am today.
Yeah. You had your first big fight on HBO, and all the attention and modeling and the music. I remember. What happened when you lost? Did it change?
Yeah, the whole world took a shit on me. But that's how life is. That's the world we live in. That's society. People love a winner. When you lose, people are more likely to come out and criticize you.
Yeah. Did you change anything about your personal self after you lost?
No, not enough. Not enough. No, not enough.
And what about your asthma? Was your asthma like a serious issue for you at the time?
Yeah, always, especially in that fight with Dal Wilson. If you watch the fight, I had an asthma attack in the first round, and I was just gassed out, and he pretty much did what he had to do and got rid of me. But that was it, man. It was just tough.
I almost died when I was 17 from asthma too, but I outgrew mine. It's like I would think it's impossible to do anything if you're almost dying, So I can understand that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was really rough, but what I did was, I came back and I kept fighting, and I'm proud to be an asthmatic and get the success that I've gotten because, for me, I was always told that I would never be successful in boxing because of my asthma, but here I am today. You know what I'm saying? Here I am today. Two-time heavyweight champion. I truly in my heart believe that I will be heavyweight champion again, and that I've done it all these years, and I've done it for all these asthmatics like yourself that people always told us we couldn't do it. So I proved that an asthmatic could become heavyweight champion. One, and then second, I've been fortunate and blessed to meet Dr. Charles Hensley, the inventor of Zicam, the nasal cold spray. I met him a few years ago. He made a product for me, a respiratory supplement that we call Zivir, and I've been fortunate to get that launched, and that's hit the market now. So hopefully that'll be my second career.
Shannon, you're like the poster boy for asthma. Really?
Yeah, man. I'm just trying to be successful, man. I'm working on a reality show right now. I have an entertainment company that I'm involved with. So good things are happening.
Wow, man. I'm happy for you. You fought and you got some good experience, but nobody that prepared you for a fight like Foreman in that magnitude. How'd that fight come up? How'd you get that fight?
I think got that fight because Foreman had looked at the Wilson fight and felt like, I was a guy that would just come forward and run out of gas. And then showed him wrong. I showed him different by boxing him,
Yeah. How did it feel training for a fight like that?
It was good, man. I mean, preparing for the train. I'm sorry, say that again?
Like when you were training for the fight, how did it feel training for a fight of that magnitude compared to what you had so far before that?
Again, I was oblivious to when you're kind of stupid and young, it's kind of the best thing sometimes, when you kind of you don't really understand the magnitude, you just kind of taking it day by day. If I had put too much emphasis on, winning and so much. I mean, of course, I always wanted to win, but on the moment, wow, this is George Foreman. It was phenomenal and it was a moment. But I think that I was always well, look, man, this has been a great ride, and if it ends, it ends. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, I mean, I was devastated after the Wilson loss. I was devastated after every loss, to be honest with you, because I really found out how much of a person that I am, how much of a person that I am as far as winning and losing when I lost. Losses devastate me more than I think they would beforehand. So even the Vitaly Klitschko loss, that to me was devastating. But that was something that I really trained hard for. I really felt like I could beat him. In the first round I tore my left bicep and I completely tore my tendon off the bone. I mean, it completely popped. So that to me was damn, in the first round, how could this happen to me? So I was really devastated from that alone. But I came back and here I am today, like I said, with the nutritional supplements Zyvair, as well as my entertainment company. I'm also writing my autobiography about my life. I'm just working, man. I just had a baby girl. My baby girl's 8 weeks old. So things are happening,
First baby?
No, my third, man. My first girl, though.
Well, that's good, man. Dangerous, though. Dangerous.
I'm gonna have to kick somebody's ass.
I think you'll be all right, man. Who's she gonna bring home?
They better leave her alone.
Who's she gonna bring home? She'll need friggin'. I don't know who she'll need. Friggin' Bigfoot, maybe.
She better be gay.
I think that too about my girls. I wouldn't mind so much.
For real, I wouldn't mind so bad,
Yeah. You have to go, Shannon? If you have to go,
I'm filming a movie called Pain and Gain with Mark Wahlberg and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I'm actually pulling up to the camp now.
Oh, wow, man. Are you in California?
No, I'm in Miami. They're filming here in Miami.
Okay. Is there a time I could call back?
About getting me this evening. Is that okay with you?
That's great, man. I'll do it.
All right, brother.
All right.
What do you remember about the Calvin Jones fight?
It was really good. I felt good, fighting at home in front of, my family, my New York fans. It felt great. I was excited. It was a big turnout. It was a big card. I still held it for the cards. So it was a big card. And it was a great night of boxing. For myself at least.
Yeah. What did you do to celebrate after that at that age? Your first fight at the Garden?
I think my manager at the time had an after party. I'm not sure. I think I stopped by, but I was real focused at the time,
Mm-hmm. And your first fight on HBO and all the attention and the modeling and the music and all that. What happened when you lost that? Did you notice a big difference in the way people were acting towards you?
Oh, hell yeah. They threw me to the dogs. It was like on mom, like on heart. I was never going to announce anything, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was pandemonium. It was the whole, to me, honestly, the whole world had come under my feet,
Yeah.
It was always a shaky, nervous world because I was never really confident when I was fighting at the time. I was training with Teddy Alvarez. We didn't have the best relationship. And my management at the time was, they were putting money into me and they were looking to make a lot of money, but no one was really dealing with me as a person,
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure if I even asked you about this, but do you still get troubled by your asthma, or is your asthma taken care of now?
No, I still have problems with it, but it's doing good now, Like I said, I'm working with this new product that a friend of mine's made, Dr. Anthony.
Yeah. Hello? 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 Hello?
Now, at that point, Shannon and I got disconnected, and I was told by my editor at the old site that I used to work for not to worry about it because he would edit that out. And I know that some of these fights I already asked Shannon about in our prior conversation, and I was also told not to worry. But I don't mind. I mean, I realize I asked Shannon Briggs already about the George Foreman fight, but it was a big fight. It was an interesting fight. It was a good fight. It was important in the career of Shannon, so I decided to just leave it in there. Hope you don't mind a little more detail. Let's pick it up again when we got reconnected.
How'd the fight with George Foreman come up?
I guess after I lost to Wilson, HBO and he was down there and figured that I would be easy target. Like, he's something that's easy to beat. Easy to fight for George.
And when the fight got signed, how'd you feel about that? Did you feel confident?
I mean, I didn't really give it much thought, to be honest with you. My manager at the time was saying how if I didn't take that fight. But actually, before I was supposed to fight, Drew Savarese. And then that fight didn't go through, and then I wound up, they said I was fighting, what's his name, Joe Hitt.
Yeah.
And I felt like, that fight that I wasn't going to take, fighting Southpaw was short-term notice, so I turned the fight down, so I had my problems with Lou Savarese from HBO at the time. And then after that, they called me and said that I had to fight. Foreman wanted to fight me, so I took that fight.
And how'd the build-up go for that fight? Was George Cole with you on tour, or did he just not talk to you really?
I mean, he didn't say much. We didn't talk. I mean, we never really spoke anything shit. Anyway, he was cordial. Let me take that back. He was cordial, but it was a fight, so I knew that to be what that was. That's just for the crowd and everything. But I don't think George is coming after me,
And you were still with Teddy Atlas at the time, right?
Teddy had me and Teddy split, but Teddy left me after the Wilson loss.
Yeah, okay. Who trained you for the George Foreman fight? I forgot.
My Cuban coach, Carlos Buene.
So how?
Carlos, C-A-R-L-O-S, Buene, A-L-B-U-E-R-N-E.
Thank you, man. And were you nervous before the fight?
Was I nervous before the Foreman fight?
Yeah, in the dressing room.
Yeah, extremely. I mean, I was playing George Foreman. I trained really hard for the fight, to be honest with you, but I still had little skinny face that I was gonna not get knocked out, because you are talking about the big George Foreman, so I was real nervous about that. But man, I was nervous, but I won the fight. I felt good about that. I didn't get knocked out, so I was happy.
Yeah. And what did you think of fighting George? Like, describe the fight.
It was brutal, man. Every punch he hit you would hurt.
And did you talk to Angelo Dundee at all?
No, not really. Not really. He wasn't his usual self when I was going up against him. We've always been friends. Sad to hear about his death, but yeah, he didn't have much feeling toward it, to be honest with you. He wasn't as friendly as he usually was. I understand it was man against.
And did you think you won the fight?
100%. I thought, looking at the fight, it was close. I boxed him. I wasn't the most thrilling fight to watch, but I thought I won.
Yeah, I thought you won too, bro. And what changed in your life when you became the champ? That was the linear championship. So, how'd you feel about that?
You get a couple more clubs for free, girls. But nothing really. I mean, I got better as a fighter. I will say that I did get better as a fighter because I think my confidence is going up. extremely just, not getting knocked out. Foreman had knocked out so many men, but not to get knocked out and to feel as though I outboxed them. That was my plan for the fight. Of course, not to stand in front of him. So I felt like, I got better as a fighter after that night.
Yeah, you did. You did. And you learned to relax more, I noticed that too.
Yeah, I just...
Did you feel you got better after leaving Teddy Atlas?
Looking back, yeah. He left me, so it was like, it was hard at the time, but looking back now, I'm 40 years old. I'm still able to, hold a conversation with you. When I don't feel punched out yet, so I feel like, I did it pretty well. And I wouldn't change anything, but time it hurt. Like looking back now, everything happens for each reason.
And in your very next fight, you fought Lennox Lewis. How'd that fight come up?
That's a fight shouldn't have been in, but I hurt my hand. After the Foreman fight, my hand was destroyed. Lennox didn't want to fight Foreman. No one knew this, but Lennox was always trying to avoid Foreman. But Foreman really wanted to fight him really bad. He wouldn't fight Lennox wouldn't fight him. So when I won the linear heavyweight title from Foreman, this is when Lennox came out of the blue and wanted to fight me really bad. It made a big offer because this was a title that began in England, the linear heavyweight championship, the linear going back to the first champion, Darnell Sullivan, going back. So England really received that as the real heavyweight champion. So when I won that belt, they came over. They had a big award ceremony. They gave me a trophy. I still have it. It's one of my most, thankful, happy trophies I had. It was a fight that people said I lost, and these guys crowned me the heavyweight champion. That felt really good about that. But Lennox wanted to fight me for that linear title, and that's what he did. But I should have been in that fight because my hand was hurt. My management didn't really care. They just wanted to make a quick buck off me. But that's how boxing is, man. So what can you do,
Yeah. So you went over to England to get a special award for being the linear champion?
They came over here, but they were at this award ceremony upstate New York, and I was just blown away because I was taking so much heat from everybody. And it was a really tough time for me, but to have give me an award, it was just really great.
Yeah, that's great, man. And bring me in the ring with Lennox Lewis. How's being in the ring with Lennox like?
He was strong, he was big, he was solid. He was just big, solid. I couldn't believe how solid he was, how heavy he was. Like I couldn't move him around and nothing like that. But he was explosive. I should have been in that fight, to be honest with you. I had no training. I had one arm. I had just my right hand. I couldn't jab really. I had shot my hand up with all types of stuff before the fight to numb it. So I had no sparring. It was just a terrible time. So I felt like if I don't doubt in my mind anyway. I always say this: if I was in the shape I was for the George Foreman fight, I would have beat him. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. If I was in top shape, then the fight the Foreman I was for the fighter. If I was in for the Foreman fight, he would have got beat easy. Hold on 1 second, brother. Hold on.
Okay.
You my phone? Yes. Good.
And how disappointed were you, Shannon, when you went home without the belt?
After the Lewis fight?
Yeah.
I was very disappointed because, like people like to say, I was fighting for his championship. I felt like he was fighting. I knew the real inside story was that he was fighting for my championship. So, like I said, to become the linear heavyweight champion in the world, and then, lose it, I was disappointed because to me, that was the only belt that I find, at the time to be the true belt, the linear heavyweight championship.
And a couple fights later, you fought Franz Bolta. Take me there. What's that like? You had him down in the 8th round, then you won a majority decision, right?
Yeah, man, that was a tough dude. That was a tough dude. That was a moving fight for me. That was one of my hardest fights. He was just strong. He was, deceiving. His punches didn't look fast, but for some reason they got there. He could take a blow, and he could give one. So that was a tough fight for me. I went to that fight again with injuries. When I was young, I was just, enjoying being Shannon Briggs, to be honest with you. So my head wasn't really there. But I went into that fight, kind of overestimated him. But when it got hot, we just had to get, down and dirty. But he was a tough dude.
look like he'd be so scary, you know? He's pretty good for what he looks like.
Oh man, forget about it. Looks should be deceiving. But you know, I knew he could fight, but I didn't know he could hit that hard. So when I fought him, he's very deceptive. Like he has a very awkward movement. So he was just, man. I mean, every punch to me, honestly, him and George Foreman was by far the hardest two punches that I've ever fought.
Wow, man. I didn't know that. Never heard anyone say that.
Yeah, he did.
How surprised were you with Cedric Fields being 9-9 and he fought to that level that he fought that night with you?
I mean, I'm not looking back, I'm not surprised. Well, I know the inside story again now, so now, you know, you gotta understand, like, when they called me to fight Cedric Fields, I hadn't been fighting, I had been in training. I did it for a favor for 76 at the time. Really, I need your help sell tickets, coming to New York. I was down in Miami at the time. He said, coming to New York and, you know, fight next week. I was like, well, you know, I ain't really been training, but it depends on the opponent. So, you know, they brought in Cedric Fields. You know, his record sucked, but at the time, he had been in Germany for 2 years sparring with the Klitschko's. So, 2 years sparring with anybody, you know what I'm saying, will get you ready. I mean, this is what he was. He was a sparring partner. So, and that happens a lot. A lot of great fighters used to be sparring partners and get their breaks by, you know, beating a certain guy on a certain night, whereas they were ready, they were in shape, you know? And he was the guy, but I still thought I won that fight. If you look at the fight, I'm not sure if you've seen it. In my opinion, I thought I won a close decision. But I think the big thing was, why am I even going to a decision with Cedric Fields? That's what got everybody mad. And let alone, there was a time when I happened with a Joel Gotti. So, and my guy, Joey Gamache. So, it was around the same time I felt like the commission was under some pressure, so that's why that happened.
Yeah. And then you got back in the win column, you got a few wins, and you fought Jamil McClain. What's fighting Jamil McClain like at that time?
Another big regret, man. Just, you know, actually, I had pulled my back in that fight, so I had trained for about 2 weeks, and I pulled my back. I had about 14 weeks of doing nothing, just really going to a pool every day, being stretched, couldn't walk, couldn't sleep. And I went to that fight, and around the 7th round, I was like, that's it, 6th, 7th round, but my trainer, Herman Cancelo, was like, nah, don't worry about it, you can take it. I was getting my back, I'm completely gone. If you watch the fight, you can see I just couldn't move at all. But, you know, again, it was one of those fights that I had to fight my way back from, and that's what I've been good at all my life.
Did you think about quitting after that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I did, because my back had really went out on me. I had just really been disgusted with the politics of boxing, the management, just everything was going, you know, and even myself, you know, I wasn't mature enough at the time to, you know, really just stop. I was moving fast, you know, I was doing movies, I was doing modeling, you know, I was making money in business. So there was a lot of things that was happening, you know, television. Things were just going good for me, and I wasn't really focused on being a fighter, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird now in boxing for someone who made such a big impact on the sport like you did to not win any titles, no matter how many there are, you know. But then you finally won your title with John Sargent for the IBU title. How'd that feel, winning your first title? Did it matter to you?
Nah, because I mean, I could have won so many titles. You have to understand, boxing by that time had changed a lot. Fighting for smaller titles weren't even like something that really happened or mattered. You know, like, you know, I got a title shot. I never fought for a minor title. So these things were important back then. But back in the 80s and, you know, early 90s and mid 90s, that wasn't important if you had a small title. So that's something that kind of came new now, like so many different minor belts. You know.
And then you took some time off after that, and you came back. I keep getting messages. Okay, not bad. It's my editor, man. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Alright, you took some time off, and you came back, and you fought Ray Mercer. How was that, fighting Ray Mercer in 2005, anyway?
It was great. I mean, I took time off to do some movies. Real estate market was collapsing, and I was right in the middle of it. Had at the time about 18 properties, and I was losing my ass and my shirt and stuff and everything. So I just decided to get in shape, come back. Mercer was a vendetta fight. We had the same manager at one time. We actually spent time, you know, living in the same house. So it was just like, it was a long time beef that we had, and I got in really great shape. I think that was probably second to being the George Foreman fight. That was the top shape I was. I mean, actually, it was the Tally Clitto fight, but I was in top shape for that. I mean, that was I really trained hard for that Mercer fight because I really wanted to knock him out.
Why? What happened? Is there any public beef that happened between you guys?
Nah, I just, I'm gonna keep that under wraps. That's for the book.
Okay. You got one planned? You got a book planned?
Yeah, I'm working on it now, man. Hopefully, I'll be finished within the next 13 weeks.
What do you don't do, Shannon? You do everything.
I'm just trying to make it, brother. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
Yeah. So then you added the WBC Feature Box title. You still didn't care about that title?
I mean, I got about 14 titles around my house, man. But I was happy to win every belt and everything I've done. But the big picture has always been, the heavyweight championship. And when I went after it when I won in '06. It was like, wow, okay. I really wanted to win all the titles. I really had my mindset on it. But, fate be it, luck be it, what it is. I had management problems. Don King was my promoter at the time. I don't feel like Don protected me as far as when I got sick. When I had pneumonia, and it was bad. So I felt, they just basically put me in a fight, getting me to lose just because I had the title. So I lost the title to Bragamov, and after that, I was just really depressed, man. Just like, I was done with boxing because I seen no way out. Came back, gave it another shot, went after Tally, and everything fell apart, man. Things fell apart with my management. Not my management. I was managing myself, but my promoter, company that I started called the Empire, just changed to the Empire. That went under. They kind of just left me for dead in Germany after that. I was just like, fuck boxing.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the Majakovic fight first.
Okay. Sure.
So that's a better memory, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was cool. It was cool. But I was one of those where I was, I was so ingrained in the business part of it because I had to be. So I was, going back and forth with Don King 2 weeks before the fight. Don King changed my purse on me, right? But I was like, nah, that's not happening. So it was just so much things that I've always had to look out for myself as a fighter and as, business-wise, because my managers, as I've told you through our couple interviews we've had, that, this is a dog-eat-dog sport, you know what I mean? Like, and so I basically had to, be my eyes and ears, say yes and say no to things that, my manager didn't, also say no to things that...
Hello? Shannon? Hello? I'm sorry, man. I think it's your phone, actually. I'm not sure.
It probably is, man. What did you lose me at? What did you lose me?
Say it again?
What did you lose me at?
You were talking about Don King and the Lajakovic fight.
Oh, so yeah, just that Don King fight was it was kind of weird. Again, I was engaged in the business part of it, what's going on in the business, and it was just not good for me to focus. But I've always had to do that, and unfortunately, I haven't had the success that I think I could have had. But I had to be my eyes and ears, my manager. I had to watch myself,
And how'd you feel when you did win the championship? Did you feel since you're older, you're more ready for it?
Yeah, I definitely that. But again, I wanted so many things to happen as far as unifying the titles, but things didn't work out, man. My management, kind of went crazy. So it's been the business side of boxing to me. It's just been, crazy.
Yeah. Is that why you've been away now since?
Yeah. For the most part, but also, recouping, working on my outside business. Like what I was saying before we lost each other was, I've always look for a way out of boxing. He's always been trying to get an escape. So, I get knocked and ridiculed for that. And people say, oh, I'm not serious. Listen, this is a business. This is a job. And I say this, 95% of the fighters end up broke with dementia, Parkinson, some type of ailment, and broke, painless. So for me, my goal is to escape boxing with something to fall back on. If I had a better way out, trust me, I would be out. I don't want to be amongst the people that's in boxing. They're scumbags. They're scumbags. But I have to deal with them. I'm sorry?
I heard that before. You're not the only one.
Yeah, man. So I'm here to the game. I'm just like, I'm trying to get out of it. I'm fighting my way out.
How'd you feel that night, though, after you did win the championship? Are you just still bitter in boxing and you didn't even enjoy it as much as you thought you might?
No, I didn't. Not in 06. I didn't at all. After the fight, I was with my wife inside of a small restaurant in Arizona. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. She was like, you're not happy? I was like, I really don't care, to be honest with you.
Then you lost the title to Ibragimov in your next fight. How did that feel? Did you just not have your heart in it training anymore?
I had pneumonia for that fight, and that was another slap in the face and blow to me, because after I won the fight, I wound up getting pneumonia, and I have asthma. So at that point, I was really down. They accused me of lying. They tried to sue me. I went to their doctor. They sent me to 3 doctors. Their doctor said that I had scar tissue in my lungs. It just lymph nodes, everything. So it was just like, okay, they wound up rescheduling a fight for like a couple days, like 30 or 60 days later, some shit like that. I wasn't healed from pneumonia. I still had pneumonia. So I went to that fight. I lost it again. I lost the decision. And again, it was just more reason for me to hate boxing, hate the business of it. Because looking at the fight, like you look at that time, Klitschko hadn't fought for a while, Vitaly. Ruslan had hepatitis or some shit. There was something going on with every guy, every champion. Even Valuev, everybody was screwed up. So everyone was like, couldn't fight or whatever. And these guys were taking a year off, 2 years off, and keeping their titles. We're talking about me not being prepared to fight. This is 2-3 months after I win the belt, and they forced me into a fight. So again, I was like, fuck boxing.
And when you fought Vitaly, were you still affected by the pneumonia that you had?
No, not when I fought Vitaly, but going into that fight, that was just a bad, again, business. I went to the business part of it. I started a promotional company called the Golden Empire. My partners wound up taking the company public, wound up kicking me out. I fought Klitschko for the title. They had brought Shelly Finkelway on the board. I wound up fighting Klitschko. In the first round, I tear my tendon and I pop my tendon and tear my bicep in the first round of the fight. I fight up for 12 rounds with one arm, and they left me for dead in the hospital in Germany. Damaged eye, damaged face, fucked up arm. They left me 3 hours after the fight. They was on the flight back to Germany.
It was right after that me and Shannon got cut off yet again, and I said, since he already talked about the Vitaly Klitschko fight, there was no need to beat a dead horse. So I let it go with that, and I appreciated that conversation. Shannon's a busy guy, and he accomplished a lot of things despite an uphill battle with the asthma and juggling many different careers, wearing many hats. But don't count Shannon out, because the man's a big guy, experienced guy, and who knows what the future holds. I know he's probably got another big fight coming, and I look forward to checking in with Shannon sometime soon. So I want to thank Shannon for giving me the opportunity to talk to him when I really didn't have much of a resume to show for myself, but he gave a young reporter like me a break, and he gave me an interview, and I appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris2Guns. And again, thank you. Thanks for listening to this look back at my interview with Shannon Briggs.